Hello, how are you guys doing? Yeah, stream begins. We're gonna try and get through the next set of words using dictation and our voice prompt. Um, yeah, how are you all doing? I think everyone will slowly be trickling in as time goes on. Um, we've got again the picture of our boy Bale there. Um, and I think the notification will be going out onto Discord. Uh, just let people know. Good morning, Circus. How are you doing? Um, yes. Okay. So I will move on to. I'm a little under the weather, so if I sound a little bit hoarse, please forgive me. Luckily, I have a mic that picks up on things well, so at least you'll be able to hear me talking. But if I'm a little bit quieter, that is why. Um, oh, afternoon, Kathy. Good to have you here. I don't think I've seen you here before. Um, Good to have you. What projects are you all working on? Always nice to share. But yeah, so today we're going to work a bit on chapter 5. Um, it's kind of running simultaneously to chapter 4, but obviously in Red's point of view rather than Bale. Oh, you're very welcome. For anyone who doesn't know about I've added the dictation prompt, the latest version, to the Preptober Notion document. So you'll be able to access that if you want to use it. Oh, amazing. Well, it's lovely to have you here, Kathy. Um, this is your first live stream, and yeah, these are always a good fun. We just hang out, chat. If you want to ask any questions about Novelcrafter, feel free to do so. And I do my best to answer them. And yeah, I'm just gonna work on this story. Um, and yawn a lot. I've got my coffee, but I need to wait for it to cool down first. So yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is copy and paste a paragraph at a time, and of the summary, and then do dictations for it. Oh no, boo YouTube. Oh, you'll have to like refresh it, Emery, or something. And then I realized that you can't hear any of this. I realized that yeah, I was like, I can't respond to this, but but oh no, refresh. People in chat, we need to help Emery. But yes, okay, so I'm using a Google Chrome extension called Voicin today. I'm just testing it out on the free trial before I commit. But it seemed to do well yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah. And then my prompt now takes in any of the aliases or character or codex entry names, so that's kind of helping keep things on track. So yeah, I will get into things. Oh woo! Oh, I'm glad you're here, Emery. Damn those damn browsers. Okay, right. It always amazed Red how quickly the pack could reassert itself after a problem. By the time she and Storm Chaser had made it back to the meeting point, a makeshift den had been dug. Oak fir, driftwood, and cloud chaser were covered in dirt. That was spread out all over the riverbed. But they had a secure, if snug, hideout upstream. And camera has just gone off. One moment. Okay, is this sounding better? Okay, amazing. Yeah, that was weird. I was suddenly like, oh, my camera's got off, and then I was like, oh, my mic's got off, and I was just like mid dictation, so I was like, oh. Okay, let's see how well it cleans up my new dictation prompt. Oh, amazing. I mean, it missed out one of the words, but cloud chaser. I need to not. I'm leaning forward as I'm typing, and I'm like, the microphone is not further forward. I need to sit ergonomically. All that jazz, you know. I don't even know what microphone it's using. It's probably using the laptop mic that's like way in that direction. But it seems to be picking up the sound okay. I guess as long as you guys can hear me, then that's like 90% of the struggle. Minus. She didn't need to put her head in to realize the first issue with the den. Um, guys? She let out a whine. The sound foreign to these ears. And at a weird pitch. She tried again, but it still came out all wrong, not as she intended it to. Pebblefoot poked her head out. Red, you all... Oh, Mother Nature, what is... Your... Where is your fur? Storm Chaser quickly nipped her daughter quiet. Pushing past her. Ah, yes. She turned her head back and gave a low bark, ordering the pack to follow her. Red shuffled back, unnerved at how her packmates stared at her as if there was something wrong with her. The pups, Sunspot and Tumbleweed, came snuffling nearer. First at her hind legs, and then up towards her face, trying to reach it to lick at her muzzle. They couldn't reach, and it was awkward for her to try and lean down to allow it, and in the end, Stoneclaw pushed them away. Okay, let's get this sorted. Dictation cleanup. Okay, well, I mean, I have no idea what that is, but I can just correct that. But most of it is... Oh. Storm Chaser. Short story. Red Storm's taken the change early. We'll work something out. But until then, keep an eye out. Any questions? No? Good. If any one was bothered by the fact they were given no time to ask said questions, they wisely kept their words to themselves. Quickly, the awkwardness that settled over the pack dissipated. Some wandering off to search for food, and others staying nearby, grooming the pups. To her left, just upstream, Red could see Pebblefoot inching closer, trying to sneak up on her. Red turned slightly, scrunching up her face. Were you even trying then? What? No, you couldn't see me. No, I checked. This angle. Uh, yes, I could. Huh. Mom, are there new rules when they're all pink? Ask your father. But he's not here. If you've got enough time to play, then you've got enough time to go hunt. Find some fish or just. And that's when I'm like, words. What are words? Suddenly they fly out of the window. La di da di da. Um, red. Oh, Emery says that's my main dictation challenge, losing words. Yeah. I mean, really, I should check before I use the prompt. But I kind of have my eyes closed and don't really think about it as I'm doing the words. And because I asked for it to do sentences, maybe I should just ask for it to transcribe without any. Let's see. unless they are provided below. Let's try this. How do I change back? Red storm interrupted. Storm chaser didn't answer immediately. Instead, turning to Longtail, the eldest member of the pack, and Stoneclaw's father. Well, you see, he huffed, shaking his fur out. Normally, we initiate the change when a pup reaches their majority. It's different for everyone. And, well, given that you weren't born as such, just tell me how to turn back. Well, you've seen the ritual with the night howl or Silent Fang. We just, well, normally the ritual activates as well as deactivates. Red stared at him unblinkingly. Okay, I mean, that was not what I said. Red stared at him unblinkingly. Wait, so you mean to say that you don't know? You don't know how I can turn back? Well, we there are theories. We can certainly try the normal rituals, but you don't know. No, not exactly. Great. Absolutely. Red trailed off. Moving to the river's edge. She jabbed at her reflection with her claw, watching the water ripple. The only thing that she recognized was the shade of red upon her head, but even that was different, longer, all tangled as if it had never been groomed. the fur was gone from everywhere else, and she was left with weird features. Apart from her hind leg, her left hind leg that always gave her trouble on long runs, aching when the first frosts came. White lines raked across the skin. And in the center were two puncture wounds that seemed much darker, a deep red that matched her cloak. Okay, headcanon, guys. I'm now like, okay, maybe the cloak that she got from Granny was actually taken from a member of the cult like many years ago, and it's like actually a cult cloak. I think I can get behind that. Okay, time to check first. Let's check. I'll make it work. Let me do it in 2 goes though, just in case. Dictation cleanup. That is jabbed at her reflection with her claws, watching the water ripple. Okay, it's also good that it's recognizing red v red and knowing when to capitalize. Under the... But here they were bold, vivid. Battle scars, she'd heard some humans call them when sitting across from each other at the fire pit. It was only after the reflection became still again that Red realized Longtail had not mentioned how they transformed after the rituals. Then again, she had never really seen any of them in human form. Only those two moments, the change and the return. Did they even know? Red frowned, trying to think of what had caused the initial change, what had brought about the wolf in her. She screwed her eyes shut, trying to catch glimpses of memory. The creature, yes. She remembered him. The hunter? Was that what Storm Chaser had called him? But other than that, it was a blur, the pain drowning out anything else. Maybe she needed to think about the wolf, think about herself in the other form. Maybe the forest magic that transformed her back into her human form when she'd seen the camp would restore her. Curling her hind legs to her chest and wrapping the red fabric around her once more, Red turned to watch the pack. She watched Oakfur and Night Owl bring in sticks and kindling and arranging them around in a circle. She saw Stoneclaw wrestling with the pups, pretending to lose to them despite their size. She remembered him doing the same when she had been young in her first memories. How she had felt so proud until she saw the wolfish gleam in his eyes. Her hesitation, all that was needed for him to buck her off, to send her skidding across the mud. She opened her eyes. She was still human. Perhaps a different tactic was needed. She shuffled towards Pebblefoot, beckoning her nearer. When the other wolf reached her, Red nuzzled into her neck, deeply inhaling, trying to remember the scent, how it felt to be a wolf amongst the pack. Can you describe the sounds? She murmured, grateful that somehow her communication with her pack members hadn't been impeded by this unwanted incident. Well, sure, I can do that. Pebblefoot settled herself on the ground, flicking her head from side to side. Well, there is the sound of the water. You can hear it hitting the rocks. There's a particularly jagged rock just on the far side of the river bank that splits the water quite beautifully, and it causes small plops every few seconds. Further upstream, I can hear Silent Fang cleaning his pores. I can hear... Pebblefoot continued, and Red allowed the voice to wash over her, to focus on the sounds, to imagine that she could hear them as clearly as her sister could. She let the scent envelope her, the memory, and for a moment she almost felt a phantom itch at her, at the base of her spine, felt her scalp tingle above the ears. Achoo! As quickly as the sensation had come, it fled. And Red groaned. Did I help? A bit. Oh. Um. Okay. Sorting out these now. I mean, I know I should see how much the prompt can do. It's just very easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna go on to something else. That wasn't ground her teeth. She groaned. Maybe he is clearing his paws, but he's not doing a health routine. He is cleaning his feet. She felt a tingle at the base. Her scalp tingling, I think it was. Oh, her scalp. She felt an itch, wasn't it? Does anyone else use dictation to write? Like, this is something that I've not really done that much, mainly because, like, before I'd then have to, like, type it all up manually. Have I mentioned far? Oh, and now I can hear poor steps coming nearer. Pebblefoot raised her head, craning to see in the distance. Red turned to look. Sure enough, Farsight was coming towards them. His strides longer than normal as he raced to the pack. Okay, so Kathy says, yes, I do. That's why I was so interested in your dictation prompt to clean up the format. How are you finding it? Like, it isn't perfect, but it's getting there slowly. But yeah, I mean, have you tried it out? Was it Farsight? Okay. 500 words to go. He flung down 2 rabbits near the stick pile. A growl rumbling at the bottom of his chest. Yeah, it's very temperamental, like dictation. And I think also like it depends on your accent, because I think kind of as I'm going on in this session, I'm slurring a bit more, which is causing it to not work. But this model that I'm using at the moment seems to understand my accent better than the inbuilt Windows one, because of like it's used to American sounds, or it's been trained on American sounds more. One of those humans, the miners, is upstream. Did he see you? Could he be following? Will he find us? No, no, it's fine. He was snoring. I doubt a banshee could wake him up. Oh, okay. I've never tried Google Voice. I'll have to give that a go. Shame they don't have it on the Chrome browser, just as an inbuilt thing. Although I bet then it would steal your words. But oh, I'm jealous of the. I've heard good things about the inbuilt Mac dictation. Um, I think what I'm going to do for the rest of this, I'm going to dictate what I want to happen, and then I'll like make it into prose after. Storm Chaser orders Soft Whisper to take the pups into the den. Night Owl follows for protection. Storm Chaser turns to the rest of the pack and sets up some patrols, wanting to make sure that the miners don't routinely come near their temporary den. She then instructs Stoneclaw and Farsight to go ahead and retrieve this human. They need all the intelligence they can get, and if the man is stupid enough to fall asleep unprotected, then they will thank Mother Nature for the gift and not ask any questions. Stoneclaw nudges her, grumbling something low enough that Red can't hear it. Stormchaser looks up at her and sighs. She orders Red and Pebblefoot to go with the two male wolves. After all, they need someone that can vocalize language, and they are unable to do that when in their wolf forms. Red asks why one of them can't just transform to do this, but is not answered. And she kind of feels a little awkward, as if there's something that she is unaware of. Red and Pebblefoot follow Farsight to where he saw the man. Red is very conscious that the pack is going slower than they normally would, and realizes that it is for her benefit. Okay, this is totally petty. I've just realized that it's still doing Zs and I have it on UK English up there, which is absolutely like it's not a biggie, but it's mildly annoying that they say they have language settings and then they don't do language settings. The group stops at a clearing slightly to the east of what Red considers her tree. There is indeed a human propped up against a tree, snoring very loudly, a bottle of bitter smelling liquid pouring out onto the ground. Stoneclaw orders the two girls to stay back as he goes forward to investigate. Pebblefoot grumbles, but for once, Red thinks the elder might be onto something, as she doesn't feel quite as able as she normally is. She stares at her hands, at how puny they are, and realizes that she has no way to defend herself. She remembers the sticks they were picking up for the fire and searches for a large branch. She quickly finds one on the floor, one that reminds her of the axe handle, and she practices its heft heft. Pebblefoot nips playfully at the stick, trying to reach it, but Red holds it up, realizing that there are some advantages to being in this human form. Pebblefoot growls and is quickly rebuked by her father. Stoneclaw declares that he will quickly incapacitate this man so that they can take him somewhere for questioning. Stoneclaw sniffs around the ground and finds a large rock. It is a slightly tedious process given that he only has his mouth to grab with, but Stoneclaw is able to position the rock high enough so that when it drops, it cracks on the man's skull and the snoring stops. Farsight nudges the man's neck and declares that he is alive. But Red is distracted. Out of the corner of her eye, she sees something moving in shadow, something Pebblefoot beside her can't see. It is coming nearer. And whilst its pace hasn't changed, it is definitely approaching them. It gets nearer and nearer, and Red swings around, prepared to confront it, the branch in her hands colliding with his face. The boy falls backwards, hitting his head on a boulder and crumpling. Red drops the branch. She now has the other's attention and they race to an apparent rescue, but realizing that Red has it all handled, their hackles lower. Stoneclaw nudges Red, saying that she was always a good fighter, and Red preens at the praise. Slowly, other members of the pack arrive. Until there are 7 of them, enough to make sure they can control their 2 prisoners. working together, they strip the men of any potential weapons and put out the fire on the second man's torch and drag them into the center of the clearing where they can keep an eye on any movement and there's no cover if they try to attack. While they wait for the humans to awake, Red watches them, fascinated by how vulnerable the humans are, and yet well aware of the damage that they can cause. She approaches the second human, the one that she felled, and sees a glint of something shiny near his neck. She investigates and finds a piece of jewelry on a string. A memory stirs in her mind of similar things hovering in a cottage, hanging from the ceiling and tinkling as she passed them. She finds the knot holding it together and undoes it. Okay. I mean, I'm now wondering how long this is going to take to write the prose. Oh darn! I've thank God for undo. I think. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. So how much of this is okay? So I have 800 words of summary. That's then gonna. I will deal with that. I think off stream. I'm gonna just sit and write. I wanna get on the sofa and just like tap away. But I'm happy with how this has gone. Again, it's one of those things that I think parts of it are a little bit long-winded, but this is also first draft, And I think that's really important that I keep telling myself that this is all first draft and it's okay if things aren't perfect because I'm going to spend a lot of time afterwards doing it. And, we're doing, it's getting a draft down. That is like literally the point of what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. I hope you had a good session, and I will see you tomorrow at the same time. We will be working on the first proper interactions between Bale and Red, and let's be real, they're not going to get on. So yeah, it's going to be fun, I think. So yeah, see y'all soon. Bye.